am Molly Hill, the artist and automotive enthusiast. Let's get started. So hello and welcome to my channel. Obviously you know who this is. This is Raggedy Ann. But my channel is going to be all-encompassing cars and art and cars. So it's going to be a bit of a variety deal. It's going to be going to car shows, talking about cars, going places. And speaking thereof, this place, which, you know, just kind of looks like a crappy lot, but if you zoom in, there's some really neat old train things back here. So where we are at is the Museum of Transport in St. Louis, and they have all kinds of things as well as cars. They have tons of trains, I think it's a few planes, but basically anything that's transportation history oriented, they do have. So anyhow, to start out with this channel, here's one of the stars of the show. I mean, we can't leave Thunder Bucket out. He'll be further along in this video. But Raggedy Ann Riviera, she is a 1971 Buick Riviera, otherwise known as a boat tail. And yep, there's the boat tail, coolest part of the car. And why is it called a boat tail? Well, I mean, obviously it resembles the bow of a boat. It was modeled over after a 1930s car, actually. They thought that the car having a tapered rear end would make it faster. Maybe it did. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyhow, they were the sports cars of their day, and the designer Bill Mitchell loved the old boat tail cars and incorporated on several designs, this particular Riviera being one of them. Anyhow, so back to just Raggedy Ann, fairly low option car. Whoever bought her just kind of picked the cosmetic stuff like the vinyl roof, but the most important thing that they picked is what they call the sport interiors. So she's got buckets and a console. Awesome, awesome. But I am only the second owner of this car. It was, obviously it was well loved, give or take how you wanna interpret that. I guess after the first owner got tired of it or whatever, he just stored it in a barn for 30 years and it was discovered by a young man. He pulled it out and it got transferred to a shop in Florida where it was revived and put on sale for Marketplace, and that's where I found it. And had it hauled up here to St. Louis, Missouri, and I knew it was a fixer-upper, and I was totally cool with that because then I'd be able to kind of do what I wanted with it and it wouldn't break the bank on something that's essentially a toy. But anyhow, she rides great, runs great, just everything I've been told about these cars, you know, just being absolutely amazing is true. But we will roll on to what the rest of cars and art and cars is. So here is the aforementioned Thunder Bucket. Not such a glamorous location, just my backyard. I need to get new tags on him. I have had Thunder Bucket 18 years. Bought him from a little old man when these cars weren't really desirable at all. You know, 5th generation El Camino, it was like whatever. Technically it's a GMC Caballero, but I just don't really say that because it just gets people confused. The only difference is the branding. I say, oh, hey, I got a Caballero. They're like, what's that? And then I got to go through the whole thing. So for clarity reasons, Thunder Bucket is an El Camino. Why did I name this thing Thunder Bucket? Well, it's a bucket. I mean, it's like rusty and gross, but that's fine. Most reliable vehicle I have ever owned. Granted, I don't drive it every day. Fires up every time, has very few problems. Initially, you know, 350, I was like, wow, this thing's a pooch after my first car being a screaming Mopar. Over time, I realized why the 350 is so valued. I had new exhaust put on it and a while back, like way a while back, and they got the part numbers mixed up for the mufflers. I wanted Flowmaster, you know, so it'd have a cool sound, and ended up with the Flowmaster racing mufflers instead of the street ones. So Thunder Bucket is, you know, an ugly bucket, and he's loud. But anyhow, I absolutely love this vehicle. Like I said, not near as much provenance as Raggedy Ann, but given his personal value, be very hard to beat or replace. He did come out of the factory with a 350, although I had it replaced. Reason being the factory 70s cars. I don't need to go into detail how detuned and awful they were. It obviously has Chevy rallies with Corvette spinners. I thought that would look pretty cool. It had 3 rally wheels on it when I bought it, and then like a regular steel one, and the old man had them covered with plastic hubcaps, so that was kind of funny, but the price was right. So fixer upper, much like Raggedy Ann, I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And I was in my 20s back then. You can totally tell that this is a 20-something that did the interior on this car. It's probably my first big interior project I ever did, but it is better than the funky caramel tan with a big hole in the bench seat. Obviously, I put buckets in there. The buckets are from a Cutlass, and then the console's the same. It's sporty. They're a lot more comfortable and hold you better than the bench. And obviously, at some point, it will get a refresh. You know, getting some holes, some wear. But I thoroughly enjoy this vehicle, and it has a handy bed. So, on to the art portion of Cars and Art, Art and Cars. Welcome to the art portion of Cars and Art, Art and Cars. This is my little studio. In order to be able to do what I do, I live very humbly. I don't mind at all. When you do what you love, that's kind of all you need. Well, and cars. So anyhow, as you can see, I have my desk here. It's actually an antique desk. That's a 1930s waterfall Art Deco. Very sturdy, unlike my old Walmart one I used to have that literally fell apart. But lots of nice drawers and things to keep the stuff in. The chair, God, how long ago did I buy that? But I reupholstered it, so I think I got it from a secondhand shop. But just buy sturdy old stuff. It'll last forever, and then you can spend money on stuff you really want to have, or places you really want to go. So anyhow, enough rambling about my stuff. Let's talk about my projects. So right now I'm in the midst of this illustration. It's a design project, actually. This is a 66 Mustang that's going to be built. They asked me to do some renders on it. It was great working with this shop. It was a collaboration, definitely to the max. I throw out an idea, they throw out an idea, and we kind of mixed everything together, and it turned out to be a really awesome, unique car. At least the artwork, the way these things usually go, it'll be another year or two before it comes to reality. I've got to do the interior part of this project this week, and customers' consent, hopefully I will be advertising it and letting you know about the whole thing. So down here's a few more things I made on the computer. I have seen like stickers everywhere for different people's businesses and whatnot. And I'm like, I'm going to give that a try and hand out stickers as well as business cards and postcards and things like that. So this is kind of the marketing end. The business perpetually has to do if they want to keep getting work. The one of Raggedy Ann I had for her Instagram page, I may change that up to be for Flames Artwork. I may do an individual sticker for Raggedy Ann's Instagram page down the road. Probably gonna rework that one a little bit, maybe just make it say Flames Artworks instead, or maybe make it look like Raggedy Ann's being painted. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I'm really happy with how the designs turned out. And another thing to note I didn't mention when talking about Thunderbucket, I've had him so long, I bought him for my first incarnation of Flames Artworks, actually, which unfortunately I couldn't get off the ground. It's a little hard to run a business when you got a big pile of student loan debt. I found out the hard way, so I went to work a job for quite a while to wipe all that out so I could get back to what I really wanted to do. But yeah, that's initially what I bought Thunderbucket for. I was solely just doing airbrushing and pinstriping. He used to have a tonneau lid, and I put all my art materials in there, and I would go from shop to shop and do the artwork in between the base coat and the clear coat on the car. So it was cool. It was convenient for the shop. They didn't have to move the car. I just went to it and did the artwork and went on my way. Most people won't know. That's kind of an ode to that why Thunderbucket has all the materials in his bed, because That's what Thunder Bucket was originally purchased for. Panning over, I also have a nice large printer for printing out things that are beyond 8.5 by 11. So this printer, it's a hoss. I've had it 15 years and it still goes. Granted, it doesn't work as nicely as it used to, and miraculously I can still find cartridges for it. I have no idea. I'm not going to complain. So here is my art table, and I've got supplies in here. Markers, pens, pencils, very convenient that I can just reach for. This was another recent project. This was a t-shirt for a band of all things, and they wanted a t-shirt with a square body on it, and I was like, I draw cars for a living. I love cars. I would be more than happy to draw you a t-shirt with a square body. But anyhow, this is like the second to the last revision. They wanted the banner taller. I initially learned how to do art analog, so sometimes I gotta draw something out on a piece of paper instead of just drawing it in the computer to kind of get an idea. So that's kind of what this was. I printed out the artwork and then I just kind of drew the banner taller just to see if making it twice as high would be proportionate, and ended up working out pretty well. So this specific piece of artwork I drew and inked by hand, and then I put it in the computer and added the color. It makes it more editable. They are what they call a alternative band, and that's kind of like a new form of country that's still kind of underground, but obviously similar themes of pickup trucks and just being country. So anyhow, but the rest of my area is just like, all my automotive books and various knickknacks, old soda bottles. I think those are cool. And this is a piece of artwork I had done a while back. It's called Scrappy the Junkyard Dog. I think I had done it for some animal cause like gallery show. It was a fun piece to do. All those car chunks I had pulled out of a junkyard not far from here, and put those on the canvas. And obviously it's pretty heavy and pretty substantial. I had to back the canvas with a piece of wood in order to get all those car parts on there. I literally sewed them onto the canvas and anchored them in the back of the wood. There's some places I had to use wire, but that's how those are all staying on there and floating around the dog, so to speak. It's one of my very favorite pieces, so I just thought it would be really cool to put above that. We are going on to the outside, the garage area, where I do my spray painting next. Okay, so this is more or less, I guess I could call it the shop. It's a small room between the house proper, I work out of my house, by the way, and the garage, where we have a couple of our vehicles housed. But this is a bunch of supplies packed up and ready to go for a project I was supposed to do yesterday. It's the reality of running a business, so a customer contacts you for work, you guys schedule a date, and then something happens and the project gets postponed. So this poor guy, it's an airbrush job, and he's waiting for his vehicle to get out of the body shop, and they told him, oh yeah, it'll be this week. Well, guess what? It's not this week, and hey, at least I've got everything ready to go for when it happens. But anyhow, if you're wondering what this guy wanted, kind of an odd job, but hey, I like challenges. So he wanted this burl wood grain put on these interior panels. This is just one I got from the junkyard. This is not the actual panel out of his car. As you can see, it's very sad looking. But I wanted to do a test piece on here to make sure that the adhesion promoter I bought worked, because the last thing I want is to put this artwork on the inside of his car and it just comes peeling off. That's going to be embarrassing. But he named his car Hot Wheels, and he wants, Hot Wheels put in the wood grain. Originally, it was supposed to look like it was like embossed or burned in there, but he didn't feel like it stood out well enough, so he wanted it gold, which is fine. It's been a long time since I've done some burl. I had a lot of fun. I use a variety of stencils in order to get those shapes, along with a little bit of hand line work to put in some of the grain and whatnot and shading. The adhesion promoter worked like a dream. It is stuck on there, which is exactly what I wanted. So I did record some videos of myself working on this, and I'm going to record further videos of me doing this on his car, so stay tuned for that. So this is yet another project I have underway, as part of my business is doing pet portraits. And I started that a while back, something simple I could do on the side and quick, a side gig if you will. So I devised this way I could quickly paint these backgrounds, based in acrylic paint, basically because spray paint is somewhat transparent. It also keeps the canvas just from soaking up everything, and it kind of makes a nice background to start with. There's times you can see my acrylic base coat through the spray paint part, but yeah, so I let the acrylic dry real good, and then I spray paint it. That's going to be another upcoming video too, you know, when I do a pet portrait. This is a 10 by 10. It's my most popular because it's the most cost effective. So, but this is how they start out. Next, I will be doing a drawing of the dog off the photograph the customer gave me, and that may seem like a lot of extra work, but it establishes the lighting, the shadows. It's also a template when I put it on here, and it basically what I'm getting to is if you more or less take the image and you carbon copy it onto your canvas, you're going to have a lot less mess. It's going to turn out a lot cleaner because you're not going to have the erasure marks of like trying to draw it all over again. But basically I'll take that and use it as template to more or less make a silhouette of the dog in whatever shades the dog is. This particular dog is gray, so it'll be like a grayish silhouette. And then I will carbon copy with charcoal the drawing of the dog onto that silhouette, and then more or less paint in the color. So that is the introduction to well, Flames Artworks, Cars and Art, Art and Cars. We will see you in an upcoming episode. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching Cars and Art, Art and Cars. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Also check out flamesartworks.com for full galleries of my work. As well as following on Instagram and Facebook, contact me on any of these platforms if you would like any artwork done. Again, thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.